Hello, and many thanks for joining us on Daybreak Sport this lovely morning. I'm Boluwaji Ogun. It was indeed a very eventful weekend of sporting activities across the globe, starting from Nigeria here. We had the Sport Festival yesterday, where the Vice President of the Federation, that's Kashim Shettima, yesterday declared open the 22nd edition of the National Sport Festival in Abeokuta, Ogun State. To be precise, at the MKO Abiola Stadium. Let me inform you that about 15,000 athletes from across the country are currently in Abeokuta for the Nigerian version of the Olympic Games. And there you have it on your screen. And of course, all of the beauty of culture and entertainment was on display yesterday during the Sport Festival opening ceremony. Let me inform you that Asha, of course, did perform, and of course, 001, and I was talking about the video, was also right there to entertain the crowd. Let me inform that Team Oyo were also in their glory yesterday. And after that particular one, or let me say before the commencement of the opening ceremony, Team Oyo won the first medals at the competition, with Tobiloba Ishola winning silver and bronze medals respectively in the weightlifting event. Today, Nigeria, Team Oyo, were expected to pick up a few more medals, as our own Rafiat Lawal, captain of Team Oyo at the games, will be participating in our own weightlifting category. And of course, our own Annabelle Enahoro is obviously in Abeokuta, and of course she'll be feeding us, giving us updates from Abeokuta on our subsequent sport bulletin. Now, away from the Sport Festival this morning, let's talk about Nigerian National League, the second tier of Nigerian League football. They call it the most important league in Nigeria. All right, let's take a look at it. Matches were played at the weekend. Interesting games, I must tell you. Osun United win against Madiba FC. But like I used to say most of the time, the one that concerns us the most here in Oyo State is Cry FC of Ogbomoso. They played 1-1 in Uyo against Dakada Football Club. And their rival, Smart City, played out a 1-1 draw against Warri Wolves at home. Let's take a look at what the table looks like. Let me inform you that it's ended already in Group C, Conference C, and Conference D, as the top two teams are in Conference D, C, and D have already booked a place in the season-ending Super 8. Talking about the top two in C, and of course the top two in D. The league is concluded in the two conferences. Now, let me inform you that Conference A and B, we have to wait till the conclusion of that one. Well, Warri will still top the pack in Conference A, followed by Smart City Football Club and Crown FC. The battle for the second ticket in Conference A is between Smart City and Crown FC, and we wish our own Ogbomoso-based team, Crown FC, all the very best in that battle for the second ticket in Conference A. Conference B also not concluded yet. Kun Khalifa, Osun United, and Sporting Lagos, and of course Rovers FC, all in the mix and fighting it out to also pick up the ticket there. Well, Crown FC won't be playing this coming weekend because they've been drawn by. Away from the Nigerian National League, let's talk about female football this morning, as Bayelsa Queens over the weekend emerged champions of the Nigerian Women's Football League following their victorious outing at the season-ending Super 6. Let's take a look at how the table ended after a week-long activity in Ekene. Bayelsa Queens finished tops with 10 points. They played 5 matches, won 3, drew 1, and suffered just 1 defeat. For Nasarawa Amazons, yes, and this is quite funny. Nasarawa Amazons played 9, of course, have 9 points. They played 5 matches as well, won 2, settled for 3 draws, and they did not lose. Despite not losing, they still did not win the league. And that's the situation right there. Edo Queens have finished third, Rivers Angels, Remo Stars Ladies, and of course Nigeria as well. Let me inform that Bayelsa Queens will represent Nigeria in the CAF Women's Champions League, starting with the qualifiers later on in August. Away from Nigerian Women's Football League this morning, let's move on the show and talk about the CAF Confederations Cup, where we had the first leg finals played at the weekend. And there you have it on your screen. RS Berkane securing a 2-0 victory over Simba FC in the first leg of the CAF Confederations Cup. And the return leg will be played in Tanzania in the coming weekend, and we'll see who eventually come out tops as far as the CAF Confederations Cup is concerned. Well, away from club football, let's talk the under-20 AFCON, where it ended at the weekend, yesterday to be precise, as the Flying Eagles of Nigeria finished as the third best team at the under-20 Africa Cup of Nations, following their 4-1 penalty shootout victory over host Egypt. Regulation time ended 1-1, and of course Nigeria finishing with the bronze medal in that particular under-20 competition. Don't forget that they already picked up a ticket to the World Cup in Chile. Now let's talk about the finals that was played later in the day. South Africa emerged champions of the under-20 AFCON this year, following their 1-0 victory over Morocco to win the tournament. Congratulations to the South Africans. I must say that they've developed so much when it comes to football. Kudos to them. Age group competition, club competition, they are indeed dominating Africa. Well, away from football, let's check out other sport this morning. And of course, we're heading straight to Imola, where we had the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at the weekend. And of course, it was Max Verstappen who was fastest ahead of McLaren duo of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Well, there's no doubt about it. The McLaren drivers are indeed the team to beat this season, finishing second and third respectively. Lewis Hamilton of Ferrari came fourth in that one. Alex Albon of Williams, of course, finishing fifth right there. All right, away from the world of Formula One, let's touch on the Italian Open. Talking about the world of tennis, the weekend served us with interesting action in the world of tennis. Of course, in Rome, yes, on Saturday, Paolini, home favorite, the home girl herself, won the singles women's title. And of course, she did that against Coco Gauff, of course, winning that one. Fantastic one for Paolini, emerging champion on her home soil. But that wasn't the case in the male category decided yesterday, as Carlos Alcaraz won his maiden title in Rome following his win over home favorite Jannik Sinner and world number one. Of course, it was a two-straight set victory for Carlos Alcaraz, winning 7-6 and of course 6-1 respectively. Congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz. What a way to prepare for the French Open. Well, away from the world of tennis, quickly, let's touch on the NBA playoffs. Of course, it ended over yesterday evening when it comes to the Western Conference semifinals, as the OKC Thunders won Game 7 of their series against the Denver Nuggets, 125 to 93 points to emerge 4-3 victors over the Denver Nuggets. Now, let's take a look at the entire playoff bracket this morning. Now, in the Western Conference, OKC Thunder will take on the Minnesota Timberwolves in the conference finals this week. And of course, in the Eastern finals also, it's the Indiana Pacers versus the New York Knicks. Later on this week also, they will start their own best of 7 series in that particular playoffs. Of course, we'll continue to bring you up to speed as far as that is concerned on this particular show on the Dominion Television, of course, on all our sports bulletin. Now, away from the world of NBA this morning, let's talk football, as Crystal Palace on Saturday won the Emirates FA Cup courtesy of a 1-0 victory over Manchester City. Eberechi Eze scoring the only goal for Crystal Palace in that particular game that, of course, sent shocks into the spine of many football fans. Now, that game was supposed to be a redemption or consolation for Manchester City, but it ended up being a very terrible one for them. A disaster for Manchester City. Let's take a look at what it looks like, the stats looks like on the day. Goals, of course, Crystal Palace won that one by a single goal. They recorded just 7 shots, while City recorded 23 shots. Surprise, right? Of course, City had 6 shots on target, while Crystal Palace had just 2 on target. Well, what a game we saw there. Now, away from that, let's talk about the Premier League. Matches were also played at the weekend. Then, most importantly, let's talk about the race for a place in the Champions League. Now, Liverpool, of course, they are in the Champions League already. They are the winners of the Premier League. And Arsenal, at the weekend, courtesy of their 1-0 victory over Newcastle United, sealed a place in the Champions League next season. Now, we need 3 more teams to join Liverpool and Arsenal. There's Newcastle United in 3rd, Chelsea 4th, Aston Villa 5th, Manchester City 6th, and Nottingham Forest 7. Let me inform that the 3rd to the 7th place teams are only they're only separated by a single point. So it's all to play for on the final day to determine the 3 teams that will join Liverpool and Arsenal in the Champions League. So just one match day to go, and it's all to play for in the Premier League. Of course, we can't wait. It's all the games will be played simultaneously, so it's winner takes all this coming weekend in the Premier League as we look to determine who eventually, of course, pick up the remaining tickets for the Champions League of football. Now, away from that, this morning, let's talk about the La Liga. Matches were also played at the weekend in the La Liga. Number of interesting matches. Then it was match day 37, which means just one match day to go in the Spanish La Liga. And of course, Barcelona already crowned champions in that one. Let's take a look at the La Liga table this morning, following the games we saw at the weekend. Of course, the La Liga table, there you have the FC Barcelona, very comfortable there right now. They are the title champions. Real Madrid, also the Atletico Madrid, Athletic Club, Villarreal, Betis, all of those teams already are good this season. Just one round of games to go this season. Away from Spain, let's go to the Italian Serie A this morning, where matches were equally played. Inter Milan don't look like a team that really wants to win the title this season. Napoli just need a point, yes, to be crowned champion. So they need to win, or at least pick up a point in their last round of game. It was match day 37 in the Italian Serie A at the weekend. Let's take a look at the table in the Italian Serie A this morning, and there you have the table. Napoli right there, Inter Milan second, Atalanta right there, Juventus there. But not a very good news coming from AC Milan this morning, as AC Milan, as you can see on your screen, they are ninth on the table. It was confirmed at the weekend that they will not play European football next season. Not a good news for fans of AC Milan worldwide. Something needs to be done. One of the biggest and best teams when it comes to Italian football won't be playing European football next season. Of course, we pray, and of course, we hope that they will bounce back as soon as possible. Away from, yes, there you have it on your screen. Milan eliminated from European football next season, and you can see how how disappointed the boys are. Of course, it's a Tomori right there, and of course a lot of quality players at AC Milan, and your guess is as good as mine. Some of them might just be thinking of leaving the club at this moment. Now, away from the Italian Serie A, let's talk about the German Bundesliga as it ended at the weekend in the German Bundesliga. The 2024-2025 season has ended. Bayern Munich crowned champions with 82 points, followed by Bayer Leverkusen with 69 points. We also have Eintracht Frankfurt and, of course, Borussia Dortmund. Those 4 teams will be representing Germany in the Champions League next season. Well, for Europa League, there you have Freiburg right there. And, of course, we also have we have Mainz representing in the Conference League. And, of course, that was how it ended in the Bundesliga. So, till next season for Bundesliga, of course, we wish Bayer Leverkusen all the best. Our own man is right there. Of course, you know him, the one who loves to crack jokes a lot. Victor Boniface, we wish him all the best come next season. Hopefully next season, they will get their title back from Bayern Munich. Let's quickly move to the French Ligue 1, where it all ended also in the French Ligue 1 at the weekend, with Paris Saint-Germain, of course, finished the season unbeaten. Marseille, Monaco, all of the teams made it there. Now, quick one, let's go straight to Turkey before I leave this morning to celebrate one of Nigeria's finest footballers, that's Victor Osimhen. At the weekend, he won the Turkish Super League title for his club. 2 trophies already in just one season. The Turkish Cup and the Turkish Super League title. Congratulations to Victor Osimhen. And that's sports this morning. Back to Samson and Parts.